Dominique, it is so good to talk to you. I start all my interviews the exact same way. I just ask, how are you today? Genuinely, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm really good. Mildly dehydrated. It is so hot. Oh my goodness. But that's nice for now.
Well, it is finale day for you. You get to
Yeah.
talk about everything. You and me get to talk about spoilers right now, and you don't have to worry about it because we're holding until after the finale airs. So first and foremost, I'm a Chicagoan. I'm in the Chicago suburbs because here's the thing: you've spent enough time here now that I have to say I'm from Chicagoland because you know the difference. But
I got you.
I want to thank you just as a Chicagoan, even as a Chicago-lander. That was real Chicago in Ironheart. There was not a deep dish sighting. There was no shot of the bean. And that's kind of the pitfalls that I find that shows that film in Chicago
Mm,
fall into. So
hello.
I'm curious for you guys, like, was that a conscious conversation on set that you want this to be like true, actual Chicago?
Absolutely. And I honestly think it was less of a conversation, more of just an understanding, a
Mm.
collective understanding amongst all of us. Shout out to our Block One director, the director of the first three episodes, Sam Ailey, straight out of Chicago. She was so adamant about making sure that we go to Chicago and have that time to get those shots that CGI could never replicate, to give it that feel on the streets of Chicago. And I'm so glad that we did, because now, like you say, Chicagolanders or Chicagoans can feel that connection the way that we would hope they did.
Well, and especially, and it's when you go to Evanston, right? Like it's when you go to visit Zeke's home. I'm like, that is Evanston. It is different and it looks different. So I was really, really pleased with that personally.
Yeah, good, great.
Well, let's talk about the big reveal. We'll start at the end and we'll work our way backward here. Mephisto. Mephisto has arrived in the MCU. I need to know at what point did you know that Mephisto was going to be part of your show? Like, were you watching Agatha and watching people think like Mephisto, he's coming, he's finally coming? Like, what was your timeline here?
When we shot that scene, that's when I knew, oh, okay, great. Like, even the names were fake. I mean, Marvel, like, hats off to them. They are so committed to the lore and the secrecy. That yeah, even us within the cast weren't sure who it was actually going to be. The name in the script kept changing. And so it wasn't until we shot that final scene, I'm sitting face to face with Sacha Baron Cohen, where I'm like, oh, he said it. It's Mephisto. Here we go. That's who he is.
So what other, I mean, was it just like dummy names or did they pretend like he was an actual other character?
Dormammu was in there for a bit, for a good while. I feel like there was some super ridiculous name that was replacing it for a while. Like Fluffy or something. I don't know. I could be making that up. Maybe that was in the super early stages, but Dormammu was definitely living in there for a while, for a long time, until right at the very end when we got ready to shoot. It's Mephisto.
That's insane. So then on the day when you're filming, I have to imagine with a reveal like that, there's a conversation about like how big do we want it to be? This is a character that fans have been waiting for. So what were the conversations there? Like how did you guys decide
Yeah.
kind of the tonal balance? How did you decide how you wanted to do it?
Exactly what you said. Literally, actually, it was just, this is something that fans have been waiting for a long time, and this is going to be how they get it. Also, peeling back the curtain to understand, oh my goodness, like this is who Parker Robbins has been talking to this entire time. This is what the hood is connected to. This is that guy. Finally getting a lot of those answers just within our own storyline, far more for the MCU at large. So definitely leaning into all of the anticipation for that final moment for sure.
That's so funny because it was, I mean, it's been years of this, and you're a Marvel fan, so you know that it's been
Oh my
since
God.
WandaVision happened that everyone's like, Mephisto, he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. He's gonna be in No Way
Exactly.
Home, he's gonna be in all these things. And you get to sit there, not even really knowing, but on the day you're like, oh,
Yeah,
it's us.
exactly. My jaw definitely hit the floor. It's like, well, let's go then. Let's shoot this scene. Yeah.
Well, so then let's talk about the aftermath of that scene, right? Because we see you back in your
Mm.
lab and we see Lyric Ross come out and then she's like real this time and you give her a hug and the veins and the magic. Girl, are you evil now? Like, do we need to be concerned about what happens when Riri meets the other Avengers? I'm a little nervous.
Well, I don't know. We might need to keep an eye on her, is all I think I can say for now. I'm super curious to see where we lead into. I mean, there are so many ideas, so many beautiful ideas, and just an endless world of possibilities. And to be frank with you, I was absolutely one of those folks that was a bit hesitant about where the MCU was going with all of these.
Really?
Absolutely, like I grew up watching the original, like I started with Iron Man 1, my brother was super into the comics. My mother is a Captain America loyalist. So there was just so much bonding that you do with these characters. You really do bring them into your lives, and I think we all felt it when, in Endgame we were like, oh, that's it? Like it's over? And just so curious about what is waiting for us on the other side. And yeah, I mean, I have absolutely, tuned into the shows and the films that have come out since then. And I think it was really leaning into this world that Riri Williams is introducing, and how grounded it is in our present day, in our world that we're living in, but also so deeply connected to all of the incredible possibility that the MCU represents, and thinking about, especially with an introduction of a long awaited character like Mephisto, it really starts to, just connect some of those dots in the brain and open you up to, whoa, like there are really so many characters that we have not explored yet. And now at this point, it's all on the table. It's all on the table.
Well, so then I have to ask, as you're watching, all of these projects that are coming out post Endgame and then before Ironheart, I gotta figure that you as Dominique are watching and you're like, that's a lot of young Avengers that have popped up. That's Wiccan and that's Kate Bishop and we can get Yelena in there. Like, is there? Granted, I know that things have changed and they shift storylines all the times, but is there a part of you that is like, guys? I mean, Kamala Khan is like setting up a team. It's right there.
I mean, how can we not, Like, how can we not? And I think this is when I'm starting to really feel that excitement, because it feels like, as the MCU is so good at doing, they've been dropping all of these breadcrumbs, and we have to hope that they're assembling them into something that's going to be iconic once again. And I think where we leave off with Riri Williams and her story, it really opens up the door for a far more complex and grounded and really, I don't know, just genuine conversation about what a young person does with so much potential and so much responsibility at such a tender point in their life, in their grieving, and in their journey as an individual, as a young woman, far more as a hero, or whatever we've come to associate heroes with being and looking like. I think this is the perfect time for someone like Riri Williams to be sort of, to get the eyes on her and to walk in the truth of all of that, of the fact that, yeah, maybe what it means to be a hero is becoming just as complex as our lives are, and so far, with these first, well, now with these 6 episodes, we've really got to watch her actively figure that out.
I keep coming back to the arms and the vein and the hugs. Like, is there a part of you that would enjoy seeing Riri Williams become maybe villain-esque, anti-hero-esque, like a little dangerous?
Man, I mean, the actor in me wants to say yes, of course, absolutely. But I think the version of me that's also aware of how much she means as a hero to so many young girls out there, is really wanting to fight for that, moral whatever. It feels like she really does want to lean into, but I do really think there's something there. I think there's something unique and cool about the authenticity of that crossroad. Like, I mean, yeah, I know what the right thing to do is, but this is my best friend. I can't get my father back. I can't get my stepfather back, but my best friend right now, like, especially as a young person, going through that particular transition of like, you know, young teenager dumb into young adulthood. That's such a tender time to have lost someone so close to you, truly like losing a part of you. And throughout the entire series, we see her presence sort of teased about what it would be like for the two of them to be reunited again. And when you're presented with something as heart-wrenching as that, how do you not lean in? You know, I think that was the more genuine choice of you know, the cards on the table. And I think if we continue to see Riri do that sort of mental gymnastics in real time and walk that rope, I think there is a very exciting and, to your point, dangerous line that Miss Williams can continue to walk.
Absolutely. I gotta say, watching you and Lyric Ross together was my favorite part of the series. The dynamic between you 2, it was just electric. Like, I just loved every single scene that you 2 had together. I love how you built that dynamic. I'm just so excited for young girls to see that kind of friendship on screen, even if she is sort of a human, sort of a robot, like an AI. It's listen, her status is up in
Yeah.
the air, sort of.
Yeah.
But I had to tell you that much. I love
Yeah,
those.
thank you. I love Lyric Ross too. She is just everything. She really, really is. It was a joy to work alongside her. I'm excited for folks to see her too.
I need to ask you also about working with Ryan Cougler. Obviously, he's an EP on this one. He is having a hell of a year with Sinners, and now he's got Ironheart finally coming out. I'm really interested in how he was as an executive producer, right? Like, was there a moment through production where you kind of thought to yourself, like, that's like the Ryan Cougler effect, or like we can't do this without Cougler. Like, this is a uniquely him thing.
Honestly, I think just the level of autonomy that we had throughout the project, I think he really, and it's something that, you know, I've been able to kind of think about in the after effect. And I felt this way on Wakanda Forever with him as a director. But this time around, kind of going back to like the Judas and the Black Messiah days when he was also a producer, it's like seeing the level of autonomy that you get on set, on the ground, to do what it is that you've been hired to do, I think is a really empowering thing that seems to be in full effect whenever I've gotten to collaborate with him, honestly. I think from seeing, you know, the flexibility that our directors had and our writer and of course the cast, it feels like there's a level of trust that he knows once we've gotten to the point of casting, at least, you know, and which is in many ways kind of the last step in the puzzle, really.
Sure.
So by the time we get to that point and the world has really been built out with the people that are going to inhabit it, it feels as though he is trusting that he's brought together the right people to do this job. So I think it's incredible to have decided to make a show that takes place in South Side of Chicago that spotlights this young Black girl. It's even more remarkable, though, to support that story with Black women from Chicago and Black women from Chicago who are overseeing the words on the page, who are overseeing the direction, who are overseeing hair and makeup, like every detail. Really empowering the folks that you've brought into this world to tell the story of the world. Absolutely.
You mentioned casting. I do want to go back to that because I think either people forget or people didn't realize that you auditioned for the MCU a while back. You auditioned for Shuri. You got to actually test with Chadwick Boseman at one point. And I'm really interested in just even what you take away from that screen test as a young actress, just working even that little bit with Chadwick Boseman. What do you take from that? And then when you come back years later and it's not even an audition for Ironheart, they just say, "Hey, we remember you. We want you for this." Like, tell me about this.
Oh man, I think it really, at that point, is just encouragement to really walk your walk. Um, you know, you hear all these stories of how other people came into whatever role or whatever career that we know and we love them for. And you start to think, oh, like that's how it should be. That's what, you know, and you start to look for the moments where you're like, oh, this is it. This is my time. And there was absolutely a part of me that was like, oh, like, is this my excuse to not finish college and just be an actor? Like, but then getting that, like getting so close. Like, I think I remember being told it was like four of us that it came down to at that point. Like, when we're doing all of that, and to get so close and then for it to be a no is like it's right there, but it's not there for you yet until you finish the assignment that's in front of you. And for me, that was college. So, and hand to God, as soon as I finished college is when I got these roles. So yeah, it really was just encouragement for me to acknowledge and respect and to, give a big old dose of gratitude for whatever it is that my journey in this thing is going to be. Because when you honor that, that's when the alignment really starts to do crazy things.
And I have to wonder if even seeing him in that audition room, like, he's Black Panther. Like, he is just the embodiment of T'Challa. When now you're leading your own superhero,
Mhm.
like, you're your own series, you're Ironheart, you are number 1 on just, like, the title card, man. What do you take from kind of seeing even Chadwick's performance in that room?
Oh man. Man, he just had this from that experience, and then working with, the rest of his castmates and seeing how they worked to embody him and to respect, his legacy, and just being so keenly aware of what he would have wanted based on, their first run with Black Panther. I think the through line for me was that sort of quiet knowing and
Mm.
truly just a beautiful level of integrity that you can't act that, you know there has to be something real, something genuine, something of substance driving all of the greatness that everyone else gets to feel. um, and I don't think I ever felt bold enough to try to emulate any of that. Um, but again, just a reminder for me to lean into the things that I do feel kinship with and the things that resonated with me about how I appreciated being treated and spoken to and engaged with and even acted with, like as a scene partner, and wanting to make sure that I hold myself to that standard with some level of consistency, and hopefully, give that generously to whoever it is that I'm working with, because I know what it felt like and what it meant for me to receive that from the number one on the call sheet, whether that was Chadwick or Daniel or, you know, Anjanou Ellis on Beale Street Could Talk, like whoever it was that was up there. When I got that, it did everything for me. So I do my best to keep that in mind and keep that motion going.
I love it. Dominique, I could talk to you all day. We're getting so close on time. I will leave you with this one. You talk about how you got so close on Black Panther and then it was a no. And then it kind of reverses for you. On Ironheart, you got the call and you said it was not like a very easy, immediate yes for you. This was something that you needed to take. And I think that's totally fair. You got to take your time and you want to think about what this means to people, to fans. What was kind of maybe the one moment for you that was like, okay, I have to do this?
It was really thinking about, it was kind of twofold. It was, oh my goodness, like you work so hard and you put all of yourself into this thing to get an opportunity to do the thing. It's kind of insane if you get an opportunity to do it and you say no, right? Especially when it aligns with so much of, I love Marvel. Why would I say no? That was kind of looming for sure. And then I think the thing that really won the day was combining that with the idea that I can't even imagine, or I can only begin to imagine how epic it would have felt had I had a Riri Williams type character mixed into the canon of women on TV, young girls on TV that looked like me, that I felt like I could see myself in, or at least aspire to. And thinking about, oh my goodness, how much it would mean for my younger brother and any other girls his age to see that and to have that, and to have a character that the person that they want to be for Halloween, the person whose costume that they want to wear every day, like just on a random Tuesday or Thursday. Because I grew up seeing my baby brothers do that. My mom was a babysitter, and I grew up seeing so many kids like I understood the kinship, that the bond that is made with, you know, your character, with your hero, and thinking that a whole world of young girls could have this hero is really what pushed me over the edge to give it my best shot.